Week in Review up next. Susan Rook takes a look at President Bush's State of the Union address.
Class gets help too.
The president finally gives his State of the Union address to mixed reviews from the critics' corner. World leaders in a historic meeting at the UN looking for ways to permanent peace. And what comes next for ritzy retail giant Macy's? For Sunday, February 2nd, this is Week in Review. Hello and welcome. I'm Susan Rook. For weeks, President Bush kept telling everyone to be patient. He would announce his cure for the U.S. economy in the annual State of the Union message. Well, as people waited, their numbers on the health of the economy and George Bush's approval rating showed many people continued to lose faith. Now the plan is out, but some are saying, is this all?
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
This week, President Bush gave Congress his assessment of the State of the Union and his plan for what to do about it. He used rhetoric that echoed last year's address when he was preparing the nation to fight Saddam Hussein.
And let me tell you right from the start and right from the heart, I know we're in hard times, but I know something else. This will not stand.
The president proposed a plan to give the lackluster economy a quick pick-me-up. His most dramatic action, an immediate revision of IRS withholding tables to put money in taxpayers' pockets right away, even though they will still owe the same amount at the end of the year. He also ordered a 90-day moratorium on implementation of government regulations that could cost businesses money. The rest of his plan is subject to approval by Congress. Central to that plan are a series of tax breaks. He called for a $5,000 tax credit for first-time buyers of new homes.
Real estate has led our economy out of almost all the tough times we've ever had. Once building starts, carpenters and plumbers work, people buy homes and take out mortgages.
Mr. Bush proposed some benefits aimed at the middle class, including a new type of individual retirement account and an increase in the personal exemption taken on children.
And finally, my immediate plan calls on Congress to give crucial help to people who own a home, to everyone who has a business or a farm or a single investment. This time, at this hour, I cannot take no for an answer. You must cut the capital gains tax on the people of our country.
That is a proposal he has made and lost before. For the long term, Mr. Bush proposed strengthening the economy by lowering the deficit and by sticking to a conservative, hands-off approach.
And we must clear away the obstacles to growth: high taxes, high regulation, red tape, and yes, wasteful government spending.
Democrats responded by saying that philosophy has had its day.
But the truth finally became all too painful and all too clear. The supply-side, trickle-down decade of the 1980s finally led to an economy in decline and left us, month after month, with a national administration adrift in domestic policy, seemingly without ideas and without apparent commitment or energy to move America ahead.
This president assumed no responsibility for the past or the present and offered no real vision for the future.
But Republican candidate Pat Buchanan said Mr. Bush's plan shows he governs as a liberal while running as a conservative. Ordinary Americans were also divided on the plan.
The programs that he presented give us a great opportunity.
Bush is saying the same thing that he's been saying all along.
The day after the speech, the administration's $1.5 trillion budget proposal was sent to Capitol Hill. Economists gave the recovery plan mixed reviews.
Middle-class America doesn't do badly. Those first-time homebuyer credits are chunky. It's $5,000.
A lot of whether the proposal will stimulate the economy comes down to whether people are going to spend the money that they get in the increased withholding. It's not clear that they will, because that's a loan, not a tax cut.
And many political analysts were not impressed.
The president took a terrible political risk with this thing. 60 days of saying, as he was saying in New Hampshire 10 days ago, stay tuned, I'm going to demonstrate my urgency. When we get down to it, in political terms, he brought forth a mouse.
But Republicans gave the president high marks when he made a rare lobbying trip to the Hill Wednesday. Mr. Bush challenged Congress to pass his economic recovery plan by March 20th, but Democrats dismissed that idea.
His challenge meant nothing. Congress is going to be ahead of the president, to tell you the truth.
The Democrats plan to be ahead of Mr. Bush on several issues, especially health care reform. In his State of the Union address, the president proposed a tax credit to help low- and middle-income families buy health insurance. He said the rest of his proposal is forthcoming. Democrats also want to move beyond the president in defense cuts. He proposed cutting $50 billion from the Pentagon over 5 years. Democrats want to make cuts twice that large. And already the arguments have begun over what to do with any peace dividend. The early bickering indicates that the president's calls for bipartisanship may be ignored as Congress and the administration struggle to pass a budget in the highly charged atmosphere of an election year. For Week in Review, I'm Bobby Batista.
Arabs and Israelis met for 2 days in Moscow this week to continue peace talks that started in Madrid in October. However, peace took a backseat to regional issues such as pollution, water rights, and arms control. Diplomats from 10 Arab nations participated, but Syria, Lebanon, and the Palestinians stayed away. Syria and Lebanon said there was no point in talking about regional issues before more progress was made on the peace front. Palestinians refused to attend after their delegates from outside the Israeli-occupied territories were turned away because of Israeli protests. Participants agreed to a series of follow-up talks this spring in 5 countries. U.S. President George Bush and Russian President Boris Yeltsin have agreed to hold 2 sets of formal talks later this year. The 2 leaders gathered at Camp David this weekend in their first official meeting since the collapse of the Soviet Union. Their talks followed a historic meeting of world leaders at the United Nations.
It was a week for the new world order. The leaders of the U.S. and Russia displayed a new warmth, and the East-West animosity that long stalked the halls of the United Nations seemed to have vanished without a trace. To mark the occasion, leaders of the 15-nation UN Security Council met for the first time ever.
Our presence today marks a turning point in the world and at the United Nations.
The meeting showed off the UN's enhanced stature. The end of the Cold War ended the body's paralysis, and that has helped give it a string of successes, from the campaign against Iraq to the release of Western hostages in Lebanon. Some disparaged the one-day summit as nothing more than a supreme photo opportunity. But one non-permanent member of the Council sought to begin a discussion on changing the Council itself.
It is also necessary for the United Nations to evolve while adapting to a changing world. For example, certain sections of the UN Charter are based on the realities prevailing in 1945, when the United Nations was founded, which predate even the Cold War.
The World War II victors hold the permanent Council seats. Japan and some Latin American and African nations are arguing that arrangement is outdated and due for change. The most dramatic sign of change in the Security Council chamber, though, was this sign, with Russian President Boris Yeltsin sitting behind it. Russia has inherited the seat of the Soviet Union, and the summit gave Mr. Yeltsin his first chance to take his place among world leaders. Mr. Yeltsin reiterated his nation's need for economic aid, and he closed ranks with the other Security Council members against China by joining them in making pointed references to democracy.
Our principles are clear and simple: primacy of democracy, human rights and freedoms, legal and moral standards.
The memory of Tiananmen Square was clearly in the room. Li Peng was making his first U.S. trip since the suppression of the pro-democracy movement there, and he had his first meeting with President Bush. The meeting was brief and cold, but demonstrators outside were still outraged.
China! Shame on China! Shame on Li Peng! Shame on Li Peng!
Third world members of the council took another tack on the issue of democracy, saying that the lofty words about human rights ignore the suffering brought on by economic disparities between nations. In the end, the council agreed to a declaration that stresses the body's role in arms control and preventative diplomacy, and the members even entertained the idea of forming a standing UN peacekeeping army. The meeting also provided a dramatic prelude to a mini-summit between Mr. Yeltsin and Mr. Bush on Saturday. That meeting at Camp David was their first since the disintegration of the Soviet Union, and they seemed determined to build something new, a U.S.-Russian partnership. Earlier in the week, both had given an arms control focus to the meeting by using domestic speeches to propose deep reductions in nuclear forces.
We will shut down further production of the B-2 bomber. We will cancel the small ICBM program. We will cease production of new warheads for our sea-based ballistic missiles. We will stop all new production of the Peacekeeper missile, and we will not purchase any more advanced cruise missiles.
We have removed from the operational duty about 600 ICBMs, both sea-based and ground-based, which is almost 1,250 nuclear warheads. We have eliminated or are preparing for the elimination 130 silos for ICBMs.
Mr. Yeltsin also proposed that each side reduce its long-range nuclear warheads to about 2,000. In his State of the Union address, Mr. Bush proposed setting the level at about 4,000. But Mr. Bush's budget also calls for an increase in spending on the controversial Strategic Defense Initiative. The Soviets had long opposed that program, but Mr. Yeltsin seemed to decide that if he couldn't beat the program, he would try to join it.
I think the time has come to consider creating a global defense system for the world community. It could be based on a reorientation of the U.S. Strategic Defense Initiative to make use of high technologies developed in Russia's defense complex. We are ready actively to participate in building and putting in place a pan-European collective security system.
After their meeting Saturday, Mr. Bush and Mr. Yeltsin said they're leaving decisions on arms issues to experts, but they said they accomplished something important.
Today, one might say that there has been written and drawn a new line and crossed out all of the things that have been associated with the Cold War.
Russia and the United States are charting a new relationship, and it's based on trust. It's based on a commitment to economic and political freedom. It's based on a strong hope for true partnership.
For Week in Review, I'm Jonathan Mann.
Yes, I was Bill Clinton's lover for 12 years. And for the past 2 years, I have lied to the press about our relationship to protect him.
AT&T is constantly searching for new ways to help our customers save money on long distance.
Forecasts, look at profiles, we do comparisons.
And what we've recently discovered is remarkably simple.
He just got the airline tickets, so
those customers who spend over $11 a month on out-of-state long distance could start saving right away by signing up for one of the AT&T Reach Out America plans. If you spend over $11 a month, you could save on long distance too. All it takes is one call to 1-800-422-3000.
AT&T, this is Terry. How can I help you?
Hi, Terry. I was wondering if you could help us save some money on our long-distance calls.
This is about people. We have to put ourselves in the customer's place.
Why don't you tell me a little about the way you use long distance?
Well, we make long-distance calls all day long.
You'll learn how you could save 24 hours a day. 25% on calls made after 5 p.m.
I'd say 25% is a pretty good chunk.
And on some plans, enjoy a daytime discount.
I guess you could say we're pretty good customers.
Who are you talking to?
Terry, would you mind repeating that?
Not at all.
Reach Out America makes saving money simple by helping you save when you call without changing the way you
want to
call.
pick up the phone and be able to call your relatives, your loved ones, and not think how much it's going to cost you.
You can save 24 hours a day. There's a 25% discount in the evenings and a daytime discount as well.
My husband has a sister in Madrid that he calls sometimes.
That's perfect. We offer a discount on calls all over the world.
What about AT&T calling cards? We each have one.
No problem. You can save on calls wherever you are.
If you spend over $11 a month on long distance, there's a Reach Out America plan that can help you save. So call us now at 1-800-422-3000.
Good enough for me. Thank you for calling AT&T.
Honey, that sounded pretty good. Why don't we sign up?
We just did.
Great. Who do we call?
Call AT&T and find out how one of the Reach Out America plans could help you save.
Governor Bill Clinton seems to be rebounding from the controversy over an alleged affair. A new CNN Time magazine poll shows his favorable rating jumped nearly 20 points this week, from 36% in mid-January to 54% now. And most of the Democratic supporters polled said they believe the media pays too much attention to candidates' personal lives that became very public again this week.
One of the 5 Democratic nominees for president, Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton, is the name you hear most these days.
About Bill Clinton. Governor Clinton? Governor Clinton. Well, did Clinton get himself off the hook?
He's become the talk of the country.
He's not running for sainthood.
But the talk is not all good.
Yes, I was Bill Clinton's lover for 12 years.
With this accusation, Jennifer Flowers derailed a campaign and a candidate.
She didn't tell the truth.
Flowers, a sometimes cabaret singer and former Arkansas State employee, sent shockwaves to the Clinton camp when, in a paid, unsubstantiated interview, she told of an ongoing love affair with the Arkansas governor. The allegations thrust Clinton into an unwanted spotlight.
As far as I'm concerned, it's a closed matter.
Rumors of extramarital affairs have dogged Governor Clinton for more than a decade. But when the Star, a supermarket tabloid, printed the latest allegations of sexual infidelity on its front page, the rumors couldn't be ignored. Facing what could be irreparable damage to his campaign for the presidency, Clinton was forced on the defensive.
She didn't tell the truth. She hired a lawyer a year ago, or a year and a half ago, to say that anybody that said that was a liar and would be sued. And she admitted that she changed her position for money.
For the past 2 years, I have lied to the press about our relationship to protect him. The truth is, I loved him. Now he tells me to deny it. Well, I'm sick of all of the deceit, and I'm sick of all of the lies.
Did anyone ever approach you from the Republican Party, perhaps another Democratic candidate, to urge you to tell this story publicly?
It was the Republican Party.
In an effort to back up Ms. Flowers' claims, audio tapes were played for reporters, tapes of alleged conversations between Flowers and Clinton. The tapes contain some explicit sexual references. CNN will not air the full tapes unless it can verify their authenticity. But Governor Clinton has admitted to this portion of the conversation.
Well, most people think, you know, that except for Cuomo, I'm doing the best right now. And we're leading in the polls in Florida without Cuomo in there, but we're coming up. And so we're moving pretty well. I'm really pleased about it.
Well, I don't particularly care for Cuomo's demeanor.
Well, he is so aggressive.
Well, he seems like he could get real mean. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have some mafioso major connections.
Well, he acts like one.
Yeah.
The remarks drew fire from New York Governor Mario Cuomo.
Because if you say it this casually about Italian Americans, what do you say about blacks? What do you say about Jews? What do you say about women? What do you say about those poor people?
Governor Clinton apologized for the remarks.
And this is my first public appearance anywhere in this area since that incident occurred. And I want to apologize again for any hurt that was caused to any Italian American in this community, in this state, in this region, in this country, and any others who might have been injured by those remarks.
Before the scandal, Governor Clinton was the leading Democratic candidate. And even as his troubles threaten to be his downfall, he remains the front runner.
My headquarters say the phones are ringing off the wall and the people are ready to roll, and they like the fact that I have basically decided to ignore the cash for trash mentality that seems to be gripping the country.
And many of his constituents are sticking by him.
What's in the past is in the past. It doesn't matter if this guy has 6 women. If he's a great leader.
I think that every Arkansan should be proud as anything to have him as president, or to even have him as a candidate for president.
I can only speak for myself, and
I'm sick of hearing about politicians' personal lives, and I really don't want to hear anymore. And I think, for the most part, a lot of women are sick of that, too.
While Clinton's Democratic rivals should, by all accounts, benefit from the governor's recent troubles, the controversy has instead made it hard for them to claim much attention for themselves.
I just don't want to get involved or talk about it. What I want to talk about is my campaign, what I think the issues are.
Some of them have even stood by the governor, taking his side rather than making points at his expense.
Please send a message to the people of the United States of America that you do not care what this Star tabloid says about Bill Clinton. Please.
Voters aren't dumb. They see through people. They know what our character's like.
And Governor Clinton is hoping his character, as a good and viable candidate for the presidency, will shine beyond the controversy.
I just don't think that engaging in a game of gotcha about a person's past is a very fruitful way to evaluate whether someone would or wouldn't be a very good president.
For Week in Review, I'm Chuck Roberts.
Fair play is really all we want, a level playing field. A level playing field, I have no doubt that Mr. Tyson will be vindicated.
People, we've spent millions giving everyone a computer, and productivity keeps dropping. Where's the productivity? I'm hungry for an answer.
Hungry? Here's mainframe power that fits in a pizza box. Data General's Avion system is the first server with software to make your computers work as a team and save you millions.
Jenkins, I'm famished. Order us an Avion.
To finally profit from your computers, call 1-800-DATA-GEN.
For over a decade, while cable television grew, the network TV executives sat back and watched. They sat around while cable created better programming, and they lost millions of viewers. Now, the network executives are sitting in Washington, asking for legislation that could result in an additional charge on your monthly cable bill. If they can't stand up to the competition, don't let them make you pay for it. Contact your congressman through this number and state your opposition to paying for free TV.
Fleischmann's Margarine asks, what is good?
Oh, that's good. Real good. And that's very good. Fleischmann's. Of course, that's good. And when you look at that, oh, there you go. That's better than good. Oh, boy.
Fleischmann's Margarine. Have you been good to yourself today? That's good. Fleischmann's. Be good to yourself.
More reliable than most, this umbrella. For it comes from our agents and 35,000 employees dedicated to customer service. Open in case you want insurance and investment expertise the traveler's way. You're better off under the umbrella.
He's running as an outsider and says a flat 13% tax would be best for all Americans. Will his ideas win votes? Democratic presidential candidate Jerry Brown on Inside Politics 92, Monday 4:30 Eastern on CNN.
Everybody, we'll go back to Week in Review in a moment. First, a check of the hour's top stories. A circus became a nightmare yesterday for about 1,000 people in South Florida when an elephant went on a rampage. Many spectators panicked when that elephant named Kelly suddenly went wild. No serious injuries, but police shot and killed the animal after it charged the midway. At least 3 children were riding the 20-year-old elephant when it ran outside the tent. A police officer pulled the children to safety. Reaction to the outburst ranged from outrage to concern for the children on the elephant.
Not have done anything, except it's apparent to me that the elephant was something gone wrong and started attacking. And when it attacked people like that, then, you know, I just was trying to keep the kids on top without having them, and I figured if it threw them off or somehow they fell off like a bucked off or whatever, that at least a couple of us would be there close enough, maybe we could grab them and pull them to safety.
Aren't these people, when they have a permit to have a circus, aren't they supposed to have some sort of tranquilizer gun to control these wild animals in case something like this happens without having to shoot them?
Still not clear what caused that elephant to go berserk. Rescuers in southern Turkey are pulling scores of bodies buried under snow slides. Blizzards and snow-covered roads are hampering searches for possible survivors. At least 135 people were killed when villages were hit yesterday by a series of avalanches. U.S. helicopters are helping the rescue effort. The choppers are part of the Kurdish relief mission operating since the end of the Gulf War. Haitian refugees are being shipped back to their island nation this weekend, whether they want to go or not. The first group of Haitians who volunteered, according to the Coast Guard, are en route from the U.S. Navy base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled Friday that the refugees can be forcibly returned to Haiti. Some Haitians protest that they will be killed if they return. Russian President Boris Yeltsin is back home in Moscow after 3 days of meetings with the leaders of Britain, the United States, and Canada. During his trip, he also addressed a historic meeting of the UN Security Council. Mr. Yeltsin and President Bush officially declared the Cold War over, and the Russian leader says they agreed on every other issue they discussed.
The idea of global protection seemed very interesting and appealing. That was my idea of global protection and operating it together, so that they would give up SDI and we would cut our spending too. And therefore, the idea itself is very healthy. Bush did not refuse. He said at first glance, the idea seems very appealing and interesting. So we decided to have our experts prepare concrete proposals on the issue. In 2 weeks, Secretary of State Baker is arriving in Moscow, and the talks will start on the issue of reduction and destruction of nuclear weapons, including the issue of global protection or defense of the planet.
Mr. Yeltsin also met with Japanese and Chinese leaders at the UN. That's a look at top stories. We'll update the news again at the top of the hour. Now back to Week in Review.
Former boxing heavyweight champ Mike Tyson is having the fight of his life right now. This week, his rape trial got underway. If Tyson is convicted of all 4 felony counts, he could be sentenced up to 63 years in prison.
With his fans surrounding him and reporters clamoring for pictures, Mike Tyson was the center of attention as he entered the courthouse. But the focus was on his next fight, a fight that could be his most important ever. His challenger, an 18-year-old Miss Black America contestant who charges that Tyson raped her.
Specific charges are 1 count of rape, 2 counts of criminal deviant conduct, and 1 count of criminal confinement.
Tyson has denied all of the charges, saying the woman agreed to have sex with him. And accompanied by a well-picked group of legal firepower and his handlers, Tyson was ready.
Fair play is really all we want, a level playing field. A level playing field, I have no doubt that Mr. Tyson will be vindicated.
On Thursday, for the first time since last July, the woman and the former champ faced off. The woman, whose face is concealed to protect her identity, took the stand and testified that Tyson lured her to his hotel room, claiming he had to pick up his bodyguard. Then she said, after she came out of the bathroom, she found Tyson sitting on the bed with nothing on but his underwear. I was terrified, she said. It's time for me to leave. Don't fight me, come here, she quotes Tyson as saying. Then she said he began kissing her. I tried to fight him. It was like hitting a wall. One hand was over me and the other was pulling my clothes down. Then, she says, he began raping her. I said, please, you're hurting me. Please stop. And he started laughing like it was a game. Were you in pain? Asked prosecutor Greg Garrison. Yes, I felt like someone was ripping me apart. Then it was the defense's turn. Attorney Vincent Fuller tried unsuccessfully to rattle Tyson's accuser. When a man asks you to accompany him into his bedroom, wouldn't you take that as an invitation to engage in sexual activity? Fuller asked. No, he was being nice, she said. I was fooled. Anybody can be fooled. I look back on it and say, yeah, it was stupid, but that didn't leave any reason for him to do what he did. On Saturday, Tyson's lawyers won 1 round when the judge refused to allow testimony about alleged past sexual misconduct by the fighter. Tyson has been the target of several lawsuits brought by women who have charged him with uninvited sexual advances. Perhaps the most damaging testimony to the defense came from Tyson's chauffeur. Virginia Foster testified that on the night of the alleged rape, the accuser appeared frantic and frightened as she rushed from Tyson's hotel. She might have been in a state of shock, a daze, disoriented, said Foster. She seemed scared. The prosecution scored another major victory when a doctor who had examined the woman said that she had injuries that were consistent with rape. As the trial goes on, Tyson continues to train for his next fight.
Tyson is working out every day. He got up this morning and ran 3 or 4 miles. You know, he's training. He's getting prepared for a fight, you know. So this is what it is. And so he's every day he gets up and he trains. And he continues on, you know, getting prepared to do what he do best, and that's fight.
But if Tyson gets KO'd in this court battle, it could mean the end of his fighting days.
He's the heavyweight champion of the world, and he's the heavyweight champion of our people. Mike Tyson!
For Week in Review, I'm Jeff Offgang.
A jury in Milwaukee this week began hearing testimony in the Jeffrey Dahmer sanity trial. Jurors must decide if Dahmer, who has admitted killing 17 young men, should go to prison or to a mental institution. This week's testimony included that of a would-be victim who escaped. CNN's Margaret Lowry reports.
This guy is so nice, and all of a sudden, you know, it's like he was pulling knives and handcuffs and all on me.
Tracy Edwards lived to tell about it, and tell he did in court Friday, describing how Jeffrey Dahmer underwent an almost physical transformation from nice guy to would-be killer.
He kind of laid across me, put his head across my chest at that point.
What was he doing with his head?
Like he was listening to my heart, because at a point he told me he was going to eat my heart at that point.
Edwards described Dahmer as chanting, rocking back and forth, undergoing intensive mood swings, testimony that could help the defense. But the prosecutor tried to cast doubt on Edwards' testimony.
I'm saying that it's important to evaluate what he told the police as against what he said on the Geraldo Rivera show.
Edwards' escape began the unraveling of the secret world of Jeffrey Dahmer, a secret world described in his confession.
After cutting up victims was to throw out only 2 and possibly 3 bags of human flesh and bones at a time. And at this time, he would hide the bags underneath other bags of garbage, which were located in the dumpster behind his apartment.
But he couldn't dispose of the bodies fast enough and had to buy a freezer just to store body parts.
That whenever he dismembered his victims, he was always completely naked. He wore no shoes, socks, or any type of clothing. See, this was not done, in fact, because of sexual gratification, but simply for necessity, because the job of cutting and dismembering his victims was quite messy.
The officer quoted Dahmer as saying even he found it hard to believe any human being could have done what he did.
Indeed, most of us can't even begin to imagine the kind of horrors described in this courtroom. The jury, for the most part, remained expressionless. No easy task.
Expressionless, too, were Dahmer's parents, just a few feet away from families of the victims. Some of them are upset there's only one black on the jury, though most of the victims were black.
The racial makeup of the jury will definitely affect the outcome of the trial. We are outrageous in the community.
Indeed, some feel Dahmer deliberately victimized blacks, but defense attorney Gerald Boyle insists that Dahmer selected by body form, not race, that he may be a pedophile, a killer, a necrophiliac, a cannibal. But for the record, Jeffrey Dahmer is not a racist. For the Week in Review, I'm Margaret Lowry.
On Friday, a Florida judge sentenced Aline Warnes, a confessed serial killer, to die in the electric chair for the murder of a businessman. Warnes confessed to killing 7 men, but says it was in self-defense. She faces 4 other homicide charges. Her sentence will be appealed.
The show was decidedly eclectic with performances by Guns N' Roses, Winona Judd, and Lifetime Award of Merit winner James Brown. How did that feel?
Ow! I feel good!
Are we having orange juice with breakfast?
Daddy, of course we are.
Oh, these aren't the little glasses I'm used to.
Orange juice is good for you. Have a big glass.
Orange juice. It's got the vitamins, minerals, and taste that make you feel so good.
No bacon and eggs?
Nope. Bulgur wheat muffins.
100% pure Florida quality orange juice. It makes you feel so good.
I'll have seconds.
Another muffin?
No, orange juice.
Oh.
In Switzerland, Ricola has been soothing sore throats and relieving coughs naturally for over 60 years. Ricola is a blend of 10 organically grown alpine herbs and natural flavors, providing pleasant-tasting natural relief. Ricola, the natural choice for soothing sore throats and relieving coughs naturally.
Go ahead, Marcy. It's easy.
But, sir, I can't Are they practicing for the Olympic separatist slalom? No. MetLife will do almost anything to make sure customer claims are paid promptly. Get Met. It pays.
Today, population in chaos. Why are we breeding ourselves into tragedy? Can we overcome instinct before instinct kills us? Controlling population by choice or by chance. A special edition of CNN World Report, 3 p.m. Eastern today.
Some of the hottest faces and voices in music today were honored Monday night in Los Angeles at the American Music Awards. CNN's Dennis Michael reports.
CNC Music Factory was the big winner at the 19th Annual American Music Awards. The group, composed of 2 producers and a collection of hired talent, was put on the defensive in the midst of victory Monday night. The band faces accusations that it has failed to pay a session singer for her vocals on the group's biggest single, and complaints that the group's official lead singer moused that track in the music video. That led to charges that the group is a lip-sync band, charges that were stoutly denied.
We are not a lip-syncing group, that we've worked very hard. We all have worked very hard, and I think it's really a sad thing that people have to try to discredit and, use us to gain recognition.
Nevertheless, the CNC Music Factory swept the dance music category with Favorite Artist, Favorite New Artist, and Favorite Single, Gonna Make You Sweat, along with the Best New Artist and Best Band in the Pop Rock category. 5 awards total out of 6 nominations. Don't look for the critics' darlings or precedent breakers here at the American Music Awards. The winners here are designated not as bests, but as favorites, as chosen by a poll of 20,000 record buyers coast to coast. The show is decidedly eclectic, with performances by Guns N' Roses, Winona Judd, and Lifetime Award of Merit winner James Brown. How did that feel?
Ow! I feel good.
Garth Brooks was originally billed to appear, but chose to stay by the hospital bedside of his wife, who was threatened with a miscarriage. There were other winners along with the CNC Music Factory. Michael Bolton was named Favorite Pop Rock Male Artist and won Best Pop Rock Album. Luther Vandross won the same 2 categories in the Soul and Rhythm and Blues category. Natalie Cole scored 2 awards, Favorite Artist and Favorite Album in the Adult Contemporary category, on the strength of her album Unforgettable, working with tracks laid down by her legendary father, the late Nat King Cole.
I see the little girl in that video. I don't see Natalie, the singer or the star. I see the daughter, and that's what's touching for me. Sometimes I really can't watch it because it gets very emotional. I still miss my dad. What can I say?
Country honors went to the absent Garth Brooks, the present Reba McEntire, and the ever-present Alabama, who won the Favorite Country Group Prize for the 10th year running. In heavy metal and hard rock, the winners were Guns N' Roses for Favorite Artists, newcomers Firehouse were judged Favorite New Artist, and Van Halen's For Unlawful Carnal Knowledge was voted Favorite Album.
I'm happy. Thank you. It's nice to win. I was happy before I won the award, though, okay?
In the rap category, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince won Favorite Album honors, Naughty by Nature Favorite New Artist, and Hammer took home the prize as Favorite Rap Artist, a souvenir of his stint as Master of Ceremonies. Dennis Michael, CNN Entertainment News, Hollywood.
I especially would like to...
This is American Express. May I help you, sir? American Express. Hello, American Express.
American Express now gives you an easy way to apply for membership. All you have to do is call.
Hello, American Express. Can I apply for the card over the phone?
Yes, you can. All I'll need is some information.
Great.
For those who qualify, the card comes with a world of privileges.
That didn't take long at all. Thanks.
Privileges that give you an extra measure of financial flexibility.
Should we, honey?
Well, do you like it?
I love it.
Then we'll take it.
Simply call 1-800-THE-CARD to apply. Privileges that automatically protect the things you buy up to $1,000 for 90 days, whether they're damaged or stolen. And privileges that extend the free repair period offered under most manufacturers' warranties.
American Express? How do I apply for membership?
I can help you. I'll take the information for membership right now.
Over the phone? Great.
Privileges that include help when you need it.
Yeah, American Express. I lost my wallet, my cash, and all my cards.
Mr. Richards, we can have another card for you by tomorrow.
American Express. I'd like you to take my application for membership if you could.
I'd be glad to, sir.
Great.
Privileges that give you around-the-clock access to our legal and medical referral service.
We lost our luggage. Worst part is the rest of my wife's medicine was in it.
Don't worry. American Express can help. American Express? I'd like to apply for the card.
Call 1-800-THE-CARD. We'll take your application over the phone and start processing it right away.
That was so easy. Thank you.
And thank you for calling American Express.
On the card, sir?
No need to wrap it.
Membership has its privileges, so call 1-800-THE-CARD now.
On display in San Francisco, the photography of Helen Levitt. Levitt is seen as a leading figure in the history of American photography. She is most famous for her portrayal of daily street life.
I'm afraid for my job. I need my job to pay my rent and everything like that, and the economy's not real good. It's not a great time to be looking for a new position. And so, yes, in a way, I am scared.
Recently, DuPont announced that its energy unit Conoco would pioneer the use of new double-hulled oil tankers in order to safeguard the environment. The response has been overwhelmingly positive. DuPont, better things for better living.
Investors, accept this giant 2,000-page reference as a gift. It brings you Value Line's new full-page research reports on 1,700 stocks and shows 100 top-ranked stocks for year-ahead price performance, plus 400 worst-ranked stocks to avoid now. And to stay ahead of the market, you'll receive 10 weeks of complete Value Line service, now only $55. Call 800-342-5856 for J.K. Lasser's new tax guide as an extra bonus. 800-342-5856. Call now.
She was intimate with JFK and the mob. She knew Camelot's back alleys, but Judith Exner says that her real story is still untold. The whole story exclusively on Larry King Live Tuesday night.
TWA has found shelter from a financial storm. The airline filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection on Friday under a plan agreed to by its major creditors. Company Chairman Carl Icahn says TWA will keep flying and hopefully emerge from bankruptcy court in about 6 months with its wings intact. TWA is the 6th big U.S. airline in the last few years to seek legal protection from its creditors. And hard financial times took their toll on another famous firm this week, Macy's. Like its annual Thanksgiving Day parade, Macy's is an American legend, a long-respected retailing giant, a symbol of the days when department stores were king. But Macy's magical image was deflated Monday when the company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. Macy's says its stores are open and operating as usual, but many employees fear for their futures.
You know, I'm afraid for my job. I need my job to pay my rent and everything like that, and the economy's not real good. It's not a great time to be looking for a new position. And so, yes, in a way, I am scared.
Many Macy's shoppers were stunned and saddened. Some shoppers in San Francisco and Atlanta did not seem too surprised.
But I've noticed there's not much merchandise in the store, so I don't know if that's just because of after Christmas or because they're just not buying anything right now.
I mean, they just can't compete. You can't have real estate like this on Union Square and compete with somebody who's going to be off in the avenues selling stuff at a lesser price.
Competition, recession, and massive debt lined Macy's road to bankruptcy court. In 1986, Macy's management took the company private in a $3.5 billion buyout. 2 years later, Macy's bought Magnin and Bullock's department stores, adding another $1 billion to its debt. Then, sales began to slump as the economy slowed and consumers' habits changed.
The concept of Macy's to buy everything from your sofa to, you know, the kids' underwear to, you know, electronics, I think is gone. Nobody goes to a store to buy everything now. You know, you go to the Gap, you go to the Limited, you go to Good Guys.
Now, Macy's is trying to get back on solid financial footing. Its creditors are held at bay by the bankruptcy court while the company reorganizes. And with the $600 million financing package arranged by Chemical Bank and Bankers Trust, Macy's can stock up for spring and pay for the new merchandise in full. That's a relief to some suppliers.
We know what our losses are, but now we can go out and make money without worrying about, can we ship them? Are we going to get paid?
These are humbling times for a company that survived the trials and travails of more than a century. R.H. Macy had 6 failures in the retail business under his belt before he founded the store that bears his name in 1858. Over the years, Macy's fortune grew, and so did its fame. The store even became a star, the backdrop for one of America's favorite holiday films.
Well, young lady, what's your name?
Susan Walker, what's yours?
Mine? Kris Kringle. I'm Santa Claus. Oh, you don't believe that, do you?
Mm-mm.
Many Macy watchers believe the retailer is in store for a new miracle on 34th Street.
A bankruptcy filing by Macy's does not mean that Macy's is going to disappear. The bankruptcy process is going to allow it to pare a lot of that debt down and make it a healthier company. So I don't believe there's any doubt at all that Macy's will survive, and in fact survive as a healthy company.
I've worked here for a long time, almost 19 years, and I have a lot of faith in Macy's. They've been good to me, and I think they'll find a way.
In last year's Thanksgiving Day parade, the Bart Simpson balloon lost some air and began to wither. But still, it stayed afloat, a metaphor perhaps for Macy's itself, as it struggles to regroup and rebuild. And thank you for joining us for this Week in Review. See you again next week. I'm Susan Rook.
Altitude is 3,400 feet.
Hi, everybody. Ted Texter's here. He's got all that weather stuff, rain and snow and sunshine
we got
somewhere.
Winter, we got summer, and Puxatawny Phil saw his shadow today.
So that means, if you're into rodent meteorology, that means that we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter. I hope that's all we have. Here's what's going on across the country with the satellite view, the vantage point from aloft. You can see lots of moisture moving up into the midsection of the nation. And notice some better news in the northeast. Still, the clouds are spinning there, and there's lots of wind on the northeast coast. But it will move on out, the storm will, and things will get a little bit better, improve over the next day or so. In the Great Lakes region, not too much going on. A little lake effect snow, that's it, across the northern tier of the nation. It is somewhat cool, but not real cold, especially considering the time of year, February in the northwest. Another storm likely will produce some rain. Speaking of rain, here's the radar summary. You can see the showers now all the way up into the panhandle of Texas, a good bit of Texas and rain shower activity. Northwest, there are also some rain, and western sections of New York State, a little bit of snow shower activity. The forecast map looks like this. Throughout the day into tomorrow, more in the way of rain in the south central United States. A peak or two of snow, and that's it in the upper Midwest. Back west, high pressure building in, producing sunshine, and in the southeast, more of the same. The East Coast starts to clear on out with drier weather, a little bit mild, considering again the time of year, and winds will subside in the northeastern U.S. Temperature-wise, only in the northeast will it be real cold through the day tomorrow, 70s in Florida. Now these forecasts around the nation today. I think I might trust the hairs on the back of my dog's neck more than I would Puxatawny Phil, but...
Rodent meteorology. I like it.
I'll not say that again.
I like that. Thanks, Ted. World Report and top stories coming up after this.
His beautiful piano albums have sold in the millions. TV and recording star Floyd Kramer. Now, Heartland Music presents Floyd Kramer in an all-new collection of his most beautiful recordings ever. Floyd has a special piano style that makes every song so warm and relaxing. You'll get 2 beautiful albums. Smooth, easy favorites to today's most beautiful songs. You'll love these all-new recordings. But this special Floyd Kramer collection is not in stores. Please order now.
Order, call toll-free 1-800-257-1257 to save all COD charges and pay only $12.98 for records or cassettes or $16.98 for CD plus $3 shipping. Use your credit card or send check or money order to Floyd Kramer, P.O. Box 8250, Atlanta, Georgia. Remember, save COD charges by sending check or money order or use your credit card.
This is CNN.
Hello, everybody. I'm Molly McCoy. CNN World Report coming up in just a moment. First, a check of the hour's top stories. Russian President Boris Yeltsin is calling his 4-day trip to Britain, the U.S., and Canada a success. Mr. Yeltsin returned to Moscow today. Yesterday, he and President Bush held 3 hours of talks at Camp David. The two leaders officially called an end to the Cold War. Mr. Bush repeated his pledge to help Russia and other republics of the former Soviet Union make the transition from communism to capitalism. U.S. Ambassador to Russia Robert Strauss says aid for Russia is vital.
The next 3 months, these are almost his words, the next 3 months are his crucial months. He needs to get through. He does need immediate help of foodstuffs of any kind and all kinds, from cattle feed to chicken feed to human feed. He needs that for the next 3 or 4 months. If he gets through that, and he gets into May and June when things begin to grow and life begins to get a little bit easier, then I think the odds pick up a lot. This is a very dangerous situation. Is it a cinch that he's going to make it? No. Is it worthwhile for us to do anything that's prudent and responsible to keep democracy and freedom going there? Yes, it is.
To hear more of the ambassador's comments, tune in to Newsmaker Sunday special edition starting at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. A U.S. Coast Guard cutter is headed for Haiti, carrying refugees back to their island nation. The 150 or so Haitians who boarded the cutter Steadfast last night reportedly had grown tired of life in a refugee camp at a U.S. Navy base in Cuba. Many say they fear they will be killed after they arrive in Haiti. Since last year's coup in Haiti, the U.S. has rescued thousands of refugees. They want asylum, but U.S. officials say most cannot stay because they fled from poverty, not for political reasons. Courts have okayed the return policy, but it is not okay with many Haitians who live in the U.S. Last night in Miami, there was a demonstration against the forced return policy. One protester said Haitians are not animals, Haitians are human beings. At least 135 people are feared dead in southeast Turkey after several avalanches. Rescuers are digging through the snow, struggling to find survivors or bodies. Blizzards and snow-covered roads are hampering the rescue efforts. The snowslides hit in the Kurdish area of Turkey. U.S. helicopters are helping the rescue and relief effort. The aircraft are among those remaining in the area for the Kurdish relief mission that followed the Gulf War. Some people in Florida will never forget what happened during a visit to the circus yesterday in Palm Bay. A circus elephant became agitated while taking children for a ride. When it attacked the bleachers, spectators panicked. One man was injured when he tried to help the children riding on the elephant.
I would not have done anything, except it's apparent to me that the elephant was something gone wrong and started attacking. And when it attacked people like that, then, you know, I just was trying to keep the kids on top without having them. And I figured if it threw them off or somehow they fell off like a bucked off or whatever, that at least a couple of us would be there close enough. Maybe we could grab them and pull them to safety.
The children were rescued. A dozen people were injured, but none seriously. Officials were able to calm the elephant. They called police, who shot and killed the animal. Willie Dixon believed that faith in the blues would end wars and suffering. Dixon was remembered as a blues legend yesterday in Glendale, California. Hundreds of friends, relatives, and fans attended a service in his memory. Dixon died last week. He wrote such blues staples as Backdoor Man, Hoochie Coochie Man, and Little Red Rooster. He inspired groups like the Rolling Stones, the Grateful Dead, and Led Zeppelin, and influenced such blues giants as Muddy Waters and B.B. King and Sonny Boy Williamson. World Report coming up after this.
Fettuccine, tortellini, linguine. I can't pass up any eeny, but I'll pass on this grated topping. See, some grated toppings are only 2/3 cheese and 1/3 fats and fillers, but Kraft is 100% grated Parmesan.
Kraft 100% grated Parmesan for 100% great taste.
Ravioli, mustacholi, great on Oli's too.
Because some aches and pains don't go away when the lights go out, we've created Tylenol PM. Specially formulated with extra strength Tylenol pain reliever for those aches and pains that can keep you up at night. Plus a gentle ingredient to help you sleep. So you can wake up refreshed in the morning. From the name you trust comes Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
The same bold engineering that made the Mitsubishi Diamante such a successful luxury performance sedan has now taken automotive luxury in an entirely different direction. Introducing the all-new Mitsubishi Montero, a luxury automobile whose luxuries include state-of-the-art four-wheel drive. The 1992 Montero by Mitsubishi. The word is getting around.
On CNN tomorrow, more than just standing by her man, is Hillary Clinton holding the campaign together on Cryer and Company. Then a father remembers his son lost in Vietnam. Across America, all tomorrow on CNN.